So, for the next 3 volumes of comics I'm going to be reviewing are the first 3 volumes of Brian Michael Bendis' all-new X-Men. Now, this is after AVX, so I'm not going to be reading the all-new, all-different ones, because guess what? I can't afford keeping up with them. In fact, the ones I'm reading right now, I got all out of $5 bargain bins at Barnes & Noble. This is the best I can do, people. Because I'm not made of money. Anyway, so as always, I'm going to start with Volume 1. Actually, why do I even bother saying that? Because that's a no-shit moment. So yeah, let's start off with yesterday's X-Men. Now, if you're not fully aware of the all-new X-Men storyline, let me explain. After the events of Avengers vs. X-Men, and Cyclops murdered, Cyclops under the influence of the Dark Phoenix, murdered, however you want to put it, murdered Charles Xavier. And the X-Men are, the mutants are now coming back. There are now mutants coming back after so many years. And currently, the X-Men have also been divided as well. Storm and Wolverine lead one half, while Scott, Magneto, and Emma lead another group. But however, Scott's becoming a little more extreme. But, yeah, on the other hand, it's like, well, you kind of led him this route, and he's trying to save his species again. And, yeah, he's not happy about doing this, but whatever, let's just continuously make Scott Summers the bad guy. Alright. So, Hank gets after a passing moment from, I think Bobby says this, where he says, I wish his past self could see him now. And Hank gets this brilliant idea to take Dr. Doom's time pad, go back to the past, and grab not only his past self, but the original 5 X-Men, Cyclops, Beast, Angel, Iceman, and Jean Grey. So this is how they bring Jean Grey back into the current Marvel Universe, is her past self is basically, herself from her past. And the whole time, and now, yes, I know, this is a really stupid idea, monumentally bad. This is a really monumentally terrible, oh my god, what the fuck were you thinking, Hank, bad idea. And yeah, admittedly, when I first heard this idea as a concept, I was like, what the hell is this? Seriously? I mean, no, really, seriously, what are you thinking, Hank? Why did you bring not only, what? You know what actually made a little more sense? If he actually took Cyclops, he didn't take if he didn't take the original X-Men, but what he did do, instead of taking the original 5 X-Men, was instead, and maybe they explained this, I totally forgot, I should have reread this before doing this review, review. Yeah, totally professional me here. What Hank should have done is take the Charles Xavier from the past and bring him to the future to talk to future Scott. The guy the man who raised him and had a lot of hope for him to be the future leader of the X-Men. I'd really like to see, the guy he killed, come under the influence of the Phoenix Force, come back from his past self and see, oh, this is what you become? Let me, maybe, this is kind of what I envisioned for mutants, but you're all on both. I'd like to see Xavier from the past go, you're all equally wrong. Scott is doing some things here while, he's trying to save the mutant race, but you guys are just keeping this divide up. So, and even, he would be shocked of seeing Magneto working with him, and I think he would be impressed that Scott is actually having his former enemy, and again, I'm talking about past Xavier, being that hypothetical sense of what if it was past Xavier brought here after and finding out, oh yeah, you killed me, but I'm not going to hold it against you, Scott. So I think, past Xavier would go, no, I'm going to bridge the gap here and try my best to get everyone working as a family again, because now more than ever, the world needs a united X-Men. So, anyway, instead, Hank gets the brilliant idea of getting the original 5 X-Men out here, and it turns out as badly as you think. Now, everyone, of course, is shocked, especially, not only of just the original 5 X-Men showing up, but Jean Grey, and Jean gets the horror, she suddenly discovers, oh my god, I'm going to die not only once, but I'm going to die a bunch of fucking times. And you can imagine, being pulled, I think at this point, Jean is either 14, no, not, I think she's either 15 or 16 years old, 17 at most, and now she's made the horrible discovery that she has been killed multiple times. She's going to turn evil, she's going to get possessed by the Phoenix Force, she's going to, get mind controlled, she's going to get cloned, all of that stuff is going to happen to her, and I really like how Bendis played it out, is that Jean is taking all this at once, because you have to remember, Jean Grey is one of the most powerful mutants, and especially when she was young, but she always had Xavier there to keep her focused. Well, guess what? No Xavier there, and now Jean is a goddamn weapon of mass destruction waiting to happen. So, yeah, this is not going to turn out well for literally fucking anybody. So with that, Scott and the other X-Men want to go back, but some of the X-Men want to go back because they realize, this is not good for anyone. This is in no way good for anyone until, past Scott has to, I almost said Ascot, but no, this isn't Fred from Scooby-Doo's Weird Wear. But Scott from the past finds out that his future self is becoming, is kind of almost like a mutant terrorist in his eyes, so he goes there to talk to him. But, yeah, future Scott is like, nope, this is not right. Nope, you can't be real. And a fight breaks out. Typical. You know what let me bring up something real quick that I've suddenly realized in the Marvel and DC universes. Not in the movies, because it's a little different in the movies, but in the comic books, I've kind of noticed in comics, especially these days in Marvel, is that everyone, when everyone's trying to have a civil conversation, everyone just wants to wind up punching one another before a team-up. That's how it is in Marvel Comics. And it's so weird because it's usually, up until Civil War, it was usually like, let's just hang out and, have a lot of fun times. So, now that I think about it, it does kind of end in fighting when they're having difficult, man, I just cannot talk at all these days, difficult conversations, and then rather than just kind of talk it out like like grown-ups, they'd end up punching it out. Whereas in DC, I've suddenly noticed that whenever a team-up happens, there's hardly ever a fight, and it's more like, hey, buddy, let's go stop the bad guys, then later go home and have a pizza. How about that? But yeah, I know, that's not typical in every DC comic, and it's especially not noticed in the movie universe. And again, this is not about a who's better, Marvel or DC. I'm not saying this is like a Marvel DC comment. This isn't a who's better, Marvel versus DC commentary. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I've noticed that, especially these days, I've especially noticed that trend in the comics alone. That's what I'm not trying to say Marvel and who's better, Marvel or DC. I'm just saying that's what I've been seeing in the comic books, especially these days. So that's really it. I love Marvel and DC respectively, but yeah, I've noticed that trend in the comics where usually it doesn't happen all the time. With DC, it's more like, hey, let's go team up and then hang out later. Whereas in Marvel, it's more like when they're trying to have a team up, it ends up with someone punching another hero. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. But anyway, getting back to this. Of course, Scott in the original X-Men fights Future Scott's X-Men team, and it doesn't exactly turn out well, especially for Future Scott when he sees younger Jean, and he just goes ape shit. He just goes ape shit, especially on Emma, who he thinks is doing this to him. But yeah. So the story that's pretty much it, is that it's the X-Men, the young X-Men, are more or less at this point kind of like, maybe we should stay behind and, try to figure this out. This isn't the timeline we were supposed to be part of, Maybe we can make things better here than we can just going back. So, in a vote, Angel and I think Past Beast, I know Angel definitely, and that's kind of the running thing until, he runs into X-23 and they start dating for however long. They end up staying here. They end up staying in this timeline, and it takes until the second X-Men Guardians of the Galaxy team up in Black Vortex for Beast to fully understand, oh god, I did something horribly wrong. But that's way far away. And in the time between, Kitty leaves to train the young. I'm just going to give you a little preview of what happens in All New X-Men. Is stuff like, X-23 joins them. She forms a relationship with Angel. Meanwhile, Kitty breaks up with Colossus. But then again, that's been done for a while, and now she's going off to get that Star-Lord dick. Jean gets kidnapped by the Shi'ar Empire and is accused of crimes she's going to commit in the future. So, yeah, fun times all around for young X-Men. I know I sound like I'm shitting on this comic. I'm really not, because at first, the concept is really dumb. Don't get me wrong. The concept is kind of dumb, but Bendis manages to write it in a way to make it sound good, because I think he realized, yeah, this concept isn't going to fly with a lot of people, but I'm going to damn sure make it's going to work. And yeah, it really does. It's kind of fun to see the classic X-Men, the classic original X-Men team in here, and it's cool to see them hang out with their future selves. I mean, if you wanted to hang out with anyone, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to hang out with my past self. My past self was a dick. So, yeah, but I think it would be kind of cool to at least, get to meet your future self and hang out with him or her for a while. And there is some great, Bendis writes some great character interactions in his X books. Those are really good. So, I think he does really great. Especially, I think, a lot of people, and I'm starting to agree with this, is that Bendis is better on writing X-Men and its because of how soap opera and drama-esque, X-Men can be, and how a lot of Chris Claremont's work was at points, and Bendis feels like he's writing a lot of Claremont and even not Jack Kirby, Stan Lee era dialogue with all these X-Men, especially in All New X-Men. So yeah, I know I sound like I was dogging on this comic at the beginning of this, but really, I really enjoy this. I actually really like the idea. Again, I know I sounded like I was dogging on this comic, and for that I'm sorry. But no, if you really want to check out some cool X-Men books, go check out All New X-Men. I highly recommend it. But once again, if you've read the comic, you guys tell me, what do you guys think of All New X-Men? Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.